I don't know, fix it, wnba, do something. He's gonna look to swing, but you see the cutter coming into the paint is gonna hold Lexi Hull in plays for an easy 2. Bang. Welcome, Fever fans, to the good, the bad, the delirious. I'm your host, Paddocast. Asia Wilson barrages the Fever with mid-range jumpers. Caitlin Clark has an off night offensively, and the Fever can't get out of their own way as they fall to the Aces. I break it all down: terrible calls, good and bad defensive plays, as well as a standout performance you wouldn't expect. Let's dive in. First off, we always give our opponents props here on the GBD. The Aces started slow, but MVP frontrunner Asia Wilson put the team on her back and heaped praise on her teammates, including a phenomenal bench performance for the Aces, outscoring the Fever bench 30-11. After going down 7 early, Asia scored the team's first 10 points off of mid-range jumpers. Asia ended the night with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 stocks, and shot 39.3% from the field. Her consistent threat from the elbow was so productive, it opened up the 3-point game for the Aces. And speaking of the 3-point threat, nobody was more on fire than Alicia Clark. She ended the night with 14 points with 66% 3-point shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. The Fever started hot, but at multiple points of the night, sputtered. Part of this was Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston having an off night, but a lot of it was the Fever wasting opportunities to close the gap when it mattered most. Odd rotations plagued momentum, but there were some surprising standout performances. MVP has to go to Kelsey Mitchell tonight. She was finding ways to consistently score and keep us in the hunt. She had 24 points, shooting 47.4% from the field and 57% from 3. Man, her cuts, everything she's doing in the offense, she tries so hard. She's constantly running up and down the court, sometimes trying to gamble to make something happen on defense, but it wasn't enough tonight without the other high-powered players finding their rhythm. Other shoutouts go to Lexi Hull, who had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block on the night. She got in foul trouble early again and got burned on a few plays, but she consistently giving effort on the court, even in the darkest moments. Melissa Smith had quality minutes tonight, including on the defensive side. This is a great sign for the Fever heading into the playoffs. She had 9 points on 50% shooting, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and actually was net positive and plus minus tonight. I said I'd highlight some of the performance and plays for the night, and here they are. All right, now I'm going to kick off our highlights with what I like to call the big 3 play, because it involves Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston doing what they do best. It's going to start off, and the camera angle is not going to be good, but basically Clark's going to start by cutting over, and she's going to get a screen from Aaliyah Boston. Right here, the defenders are going to collapse on her, but she's going to split the defenders, hit Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston's going to get in. Now that she has penetrated, all the help has collapsed on her, and she's going to find a wide open Kelsey Mitchell, who, even if they did decide to break out on top of her, you have Lexi Hull wide open. But of course, Kelsey Mitchell this open, she's going to drive in, split the defenders again, take it up for an easy 2. Bang. So this next play is going to be an inbound play from the Fever. Kaylu Samuelson inbounding the ball, and what you're going to see is Melissa Smith and Aaliyah Boston. They're just going to be there to set screens, and Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark are going to run around the outside. Caitlin Clark looking like the primary option to go to the corner, get the inbound, and shoot a 3. However, she's actually the decoy. Instead, there's another option, which is Kelsey Mitchell's going to cut inside and try to go for a backdoor on Asia Wilson. So let's kick it off. So we're going to see Kelsey Mitchell's going to start it off. She's going to lose Kelsey Plum right here onto Melissa Smith. And you also see that Clark is shaving off her defender right here. And right now, the Aces defense is going to go hard all in on Clark. You can see Jackie Young trailing, and you can see Chelsea Gray coming out on this side. Asia Wilson trying to now track 2 players, Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, who can both kind of come up in here for Kaylu Samuelson to him on the ball. However, there's not a single defender besides maybe Kelsey Plum, who's locked on to the back of Kelsey Mitchell's jersey, that sees Kaylu Samuelson is already anticipating the pass to Kelsey Mitchell, and it's going to come right in. Easy 2-point bucket. Great play by the Fever. Now, our surprise highlight for the night, even though she had an off night on the offensive, she wasn't sinking threes. Caitlin Clark, as much as she gets crap for not having great defense, she had a few outstanding performances on defense tonight against the Aces, and I'm going to start to break them down. And a lot of it actually comes with disrupting Asia Wilson, either with help defense or directly, and shutting down passing lanes. But let's dive into the first one. Jackie Young's going to have the ball at the top of the key, pass into Asia, and Clark's going to come in. She's going to give the help so that Asia can't drive, and they're going to turn Asia inside. Then Asia has to pass out, and Clark just keeps track of Kelsey Plum, removes her as an option. Jackie Young runs out of shot clock, shoots, airball, easy peasy. Next one's going to be inbound play, and this one Clark's going to come on the help side defense off of the inbounder, shut down that passing lane, and Kelsey Plum's going to throw it away into the ether. And here Clark now onto Chelsea Gray's going to switch onto Asia Wilson, the MVP, and she's actually going to swipe at that ball, disrupt her just enough to get help from Lexi Hull, and boom, Asia Wilson gets one of the toughest 2-pointers of her night. Great D by Caitlin Clark. Love to see her improving in that aspect, and I know that a lot of the knock against her is that she is a two-way player. Heck, I would have traded her shooting, a way better percentage on 3-pointers tonight instead of these defensive moments, but I gotta call it out when I see good things happening for her, so give her props and her flowers. Unfortunately, we have to talk about the bad and the things that affected the Fever's chances to win tonight, and it's pretty clear what went down in this game. Aaliyah Boston had a tough night, not only being guarded by one of the best defenders in the league, but just again is one of those players that gets picked on by the refs. She had 6 points, 10 rebounds, and fouled out of the game in the fourth quarter. Caitlin Clark also struggled, and though having a player that gets 16.6 assists doesn't sound bad, the main issue was Clark's 3-pointer, which was not falling tonight, only going 1 for 10 and shooting 27.3% overall from the field. I was surprised by this because the first 3 she turned and yelled at the Aces bench, and I expected we were in for a monster night, but the shots never came. She undershot on most of her misses tonight, and I fully expect she is going to have an epic revenge game in the 48-hour rematch. Also up on the bads is rotations. I forgot how happy I was not seeing Christy Wallace on the Fever basketball court, and this play exemplifies how painful it is to see her on the court. All right, now it's time for some lowlights, and we talked a lot about in the beginning of this video of Asia Wilson being really good from the elbow, sinking 2-pointers, and it's just gonna set up a lot for the offense of the Aces and really hurt our defense. In this case, they bring the ball up the court, they're going to give it to Asia Wilson, and as soon as she gets it, now she's going to look to swing, but you see the cutter coming into the paint is going to hold Lexi Hull in place, and it's an easy just swing around and bang, here's the 3-pointer coming in. This next one, Chelsea Gray is going to bring up the ball, going to come up here, split the defenders, get the ball to Asia, who's going to drive, and again, it's just constant driving to bring the help defense inside and bang, feed out to the perimeter for an easy 3. This one, Kelsey Mitchell is going to be caught gambling here, trying to steal from Asia Wilson, but Asia Wilson's going to turn around, give it back to Kelsey Plum, who was Kelsey Mitchell's assignment, and bang, another 3-pointer on the Fever. All right, now welcome to the Delirious, which used to be, the weird things that happened during the game, the questions I still have, but in this case, it's now the ref review corner, because that's just always what it tends up to be, because the refs and the WNBA are trash. They're actually just the most inconsistent, worst officiating crew in all of sports. So I want to break it down for you. Let's dive in, shall we? Now, the Aces are serial floppers. Here, Tiffany Hayes is going to flop on Caitlin Clark's drive. She spits out her mouth guard somehow in all of this. I don't even know how that happens, but she's just taking a dive of the team. And look at Chelsea Gray. She's learning here. Chelsea Gray is learning here. Here again, Tiffany Hayes on the rebound is going to get it into the putback, and she's going to fall to the ground, and somehow that's a foul on Erica Wheeler. Erica Wheeler, not even near, can't even push on her, and she's going to fall and get the foul because the refs are terrible. Here we go. Chelsea Gray is going to go, and she's going to trip on her own, passing this ball out to Alicia Clark, who still sinks another 3. She had 4 on the night, but hey, Chelsea Gray again. Oh, I'm just going to fall over. Tough. You know what? Falling over seems to work pretty well. I'm going to also fall over on Caitlin Clark's drive. Look at her. Her head flies back, not even touched. Like an agony, like a sniper came out of the Gamebridge crowd and knocked her down. I don't know what's going on there. And here, Aaliyah Boston in purgatory, in literally reffing hell, as she doesn't even touch Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson gets the end one here. Asia Wilson, again, doesn't even touch her on the way up. Comes, spins, jump shots. She gets the easy 2. And here, again, Aaliyah Boston straight up. Chelsea Gray jumps into her. Chelsea Gray jumps into her and acts like she did something super pumped with this and one. Garbage. And then here, Aaliyah Boston, of course, not even going to get the foul. There's clearly a foul there. And I don't care about being unbiased because with the reffing this bad, I don't know. Fix it, WNBA. Fix it. I know we have to wait till next year, but do something. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think the Fever can do to win the upcoming rematch against the Aces. Again, I think the Fever have a lot to learn from this. I think they're going to regroup. They're not going to have another off night again. Or we're in for a really, really sick revenge game in the next 48 hours. And remember, you're going to do amazing today because you are amazing. Catch you next episode.